Hi everyone, and welcome to the next video in this Outfit Studio tutorial series. Today we are taking a break from the hands-on work in Outfit Studio and we're going to talk instead. The topic we're going to talk about in this episode is NIFs. And you might be thinking, why do we need to talk about NIFs? I know what they are and we've already been working with them. And yes, you're correct. We have been working with NIFs and you do already know a lot about them. But there are some things that you may not know that I'd like to cover before we get to the next Outfit Studio project. For example, do you know why some NIFs need to be broken up into multiple meshes? Have you ever wondered how weight sliding actually works in Skyrim? Can you properly set up the plugin record and NIF files for items that do not weight slide versus those that do? And do you know the unbreakable rules for NIFs to weight slide properly? Well, just in case you don't already know the answers to those questions, we're going to cover all of that, plus a bit more, in today's video. Here's an overview of what we will be discussing. I encourage you to stick around for the whole thing, but you can use the video chapters or timestamps in the description to skip to specific parts if you prefer. This is a video for anyone at any experience level who is interested to learn more about outfit NIFs. But I will be going slow and explaining in detail, so if that's not what you're looking for, then this video may not be for you. As you've already seen in the series so far, a single NIF can have multiple meshes included in it. Each mesh in a NIF is a separate shape, but all the meshes included in the NIF are part of the same outfit or accessory. So everything in the NIF will be equipped or unequipped together as a single item. Each mesh in the NIF can only have one set of texture files and one set of texture or shader properties. You can't split some vertices of the mesh off to one set of texture files and others off to a different set of texture files. So we are limited to one set of texture files and one set of shader properties per mesh. But the good news is that different meshes within the same NIF can have entirely different textures. And this is one reason why many outfits and accessories contain more than one mesh. Consider, for example, the vanilla Daedric armor, which has these glowing red parts. This is achieved by splitting the armor into two meshes. One for the armor itself that does not glow, and a separate mesh for the red glowing bits that has a totally different set of texture properties. Similarly, some meshes need to have transparency applied while others don't. And so having these as two separate meshes in the NIF allows you to set those characteristics separately for each one. In our Outfit Studio work so far, we've already seen examples of outfit NIFs that are made of multiple meshes. In fact, this is the norm for outfits or accessories that cover the body, hands, and feet because those body parts often have to be included in the NIF. Body parts are always separate meshes from the armor, jewelry, or clothing meshes since they have very specific textures and shader properties that are different from non-body meshes. Although different vertices in a single mesh cannot be split across multiple texture files, they can be assigned to different partitions or body slots. You can see this in the Partitions tab of Outfit Studio. We've touched on this briefly before, and I'll go over partitions in detail in an upcoming video. For now, just be aware of this feature and don't go changing partitions on your own unless you know what you're doing. One last comment about working with meshes in Outfit Studio. When you are doing outfit work, you can have as many mesh pieces loaded into Outfit Studio as you want, even if they are not going to be exported as part of the final NIF. Only the meshes that you select on the right will be exported together. And we've already done this in some of the previous videos. But I will note here that I believe this is not true for body slide projects in Outfit Studio, where all of the meshes saved in the project will become part of the outfit. Another aspect of outfit work for Skyrim that you've seen a lot already is that we need multiple NIF files for each outfit. We need a minimum of 2 NIFs for each outfit or accessory record in the plugin, meaning the mods ESP, ESL, or ESM. We need to have a wearable version and a ground model. The ground model is a type of NIF file that we haven't worked with yet in these tutorials. It is the mesh that you see in both your inventory screen and when you drop the item on the ground. It has some unique characteristics compared to the wearable NIFs, and you'll need to understand those differences to make things work properly. We will be making ground models in a later video, and we'll talk about the differences then. For now, just understand that you need a NIF to use as the ground model, and it cannot be the same NIF as the wearable one. For wearable NIFs, we either have 1 file or 2, depending on the situation. For weight sliding items, meaning outfits or accessories that get bigger or smaller as you change your character's weight, we have 2 NIFs, the size 0 or smallest version, and the size 1 or largest version. We've already talked about this and about how the game uses the size 0 file for a character set at a weight of 0%, and the size 1 file for a character set at a weight of 100%, and that both files are used to proportionally morph the shape for any weights in between. In order for the game to do this properly, the 2 wearable NIFs must have exactly the same name, but end in _0 for the smallest version and _1 for the largest version. To emphasize this point again, if the weight sliding flag is enabled in the plugin, then you must have NIF files of the same name ending in _0 and _1, or else weird things will happen. Usually your body or other parts will become invisible when you try to wear the item. If an item does not weight slide, it only needs 1 wearable NIF, and it doesn't need to have either the _0 or the _1 in its name. But in order for this to work, the weight sliding flag must be disabled in the plugin, or you'll end up with the invisible body parts problem. Some items generally do not have weight sliding enabled, such as those worn on the head. This is because you only have 1 size head, no matter what your body weight is. So there's typically only 1 wearable NIF for items to be worn on the head, ears, face, etc. The exception to this is when you need multiple wearable NIFs to accommodate different races, such as beast races that require their own separate mesh shapes for their unique head and facial structures. Most items worn elsewhere on the body are expected to weight slide by default, and for this to work, the weight slider has to be enabled in the plugin, and there must be both _0 and _1 NIFs for the item. If you only have 1 wearable NIF and you don't intend for it to weight slide, then you can name it whatever you want, as long as it matches the name in the plugin. And you have to remove the weight sliding flag in the record to indicate that the item or outfit is not slidable. However, you must understand that this does not guarantee it will work properly. This usually works well for the head and perhaps the back and maybe some other areas of the body, but a non-weight sliding item that goes on the body itself or on the arms or the legs will often only work at the body weight it was created for. Meaning a mesh that was based on size 0 will only look good on a character at 0% body weight, and a mesh based on the size 1 body will only look good at a character at 100% body weight. And if you try to use the item at any other weight, you will probably have seams or clipping. I don't mean to be critical of anyone, but in my opinion, with the advent of Outfit Studio and Body Slide, there isn't really a good excuse anymore for not making all outfits weight slide. It's not difficult to make body size conversions using this program. We will definitely be doing this in later videos. Of course, it is true that some meshes are easier to resize than others. But for outfits that are really troublesome, you can often get by with making minimal changes to the outfit itself. The most important thing is to replace the body parts so that there is one NIF that corresponds to size 0 body parts and one that corresponds to size 1 body parts. And this will allow the outfit to be worn at any body weight without having neck, wrist, or ankle seams in the game. If you are going to make outfits or accessories that are worn anywhere except the head and maybe the back, like a cloak or a backpack, then it is best practice to make them weight slide. And that means making 2 wearable NIFs, the size 0 and the size 1. There are some unbreakable rules that we have to follow when it comes to the size 0 and size 1 NIFs. This is because of how the game morphs the shapes in between the two for weight sliding. Here are the rules, and these must be true for both size NIFs. The vertex count must be identical. The vertices must be in the same order. The mesh count must be identical, and the meshes must be in the same order. Weight painting of the 2 items should be identical, though I'll admit this is a potentially slightly bendable rule, but I'd like for you to think of it as absolute because it's not difficult to do. And lastly, partitions have to be identical between the 2 size NIFs, and they have to match what's in the plug-in record. To understand why we have these rules, let's take a simple 2D shape to illustrate. This star is a simple connect the dots shape. Think of the dots as our vertices, with lines connecting them to make the mesh shape. Vertex number 1 connects to number 2 to number 3, 3 to 4, and so on to create this shape. Now say that we have 2 stars, a big one in green, representing our size 1 NIF, and a small one in purple, representing our size 0 NIF. To make a middle-sized star, we can just proportionally slide the dots, or our vertices, between the small and large shapes. And this is very easy to do when all the dots have the same numbers and they're all in the same order. But what happens if we have one less dot, or vertex, in the large shape? Now when we try to use proportional lines to make a middle shape, it works for almost all the vertices, but we can't complete it since there is no green number 5 dot in the large shape. Without that vertex, there is nothing to say where this imaginary proportionality line should end, and so the estimated position of the new vertex just shoots off into infinity. You can see this in the game too when you get something that looks like an exploding mesh. Now let's imagine that we have all the right dots, or vertices, but we have them numbered in a different order for the large star compared to the small star. In this case, when we try to draw our proportional lines between matching vertices, they end up crisscrossing all over the place. And so any middle-sized shape we draw will not be a star anymore. We can also see this happening in the game, where things look fine at size 0 and fine at size 1, but the shape in the middle is an odd, crinkled-up mess. Hopefully, this simple illustration drives home the point. For weight sliding meshes, the game can't figure out how to make a proportional middle shape unless the number of vertices and the order of vertices and the number of meshes and the order of the meshes in both the size 0 and size 1 files are identical. So that's all I've got today about NIFs. Let's do a quick recap of the key takeaways. Number 1, all the meshes in a NIF are equipped or unequipped together. Number 2, each mesh in the NIF can only have one set of texture files and one set of texture or shader properties. Number 3, for outfit work, you can have lots of different meshes loaded into Outfit Studio, but you don't have to export them all together. Number 4, every outfit or accessory requires at least 2 NIFs, a ground model and a wearable one. Number 5, Items for the head almost never weight slide, but most others can and should. Number 6. Weight sliding items require both size 0 and size 1 NIFs that have identical names but end with _0 and _1 respectively. And number 7, for weight sliding, there are some unbreakable rules that must be true for both the size 0 and the size 1 NIFs. I hope that you found this overview of Skyrim NIFs to be helpful. We will keep applying these concepts and rules so you'll get more practice as we move along through the videos. With that, let's call this one a wrap. And up next is a video to share a little Outfit Studio trick for making sure that you delete exactly the same vertices in both the size 0 and the size 1 NIF. And after watching this video, hopefully you understand a bit more why that is so important. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!